Good morning, everyone. This is Carl from NovaStar. Thank you for joining with us for this session. So today we're going to take some time to talk about the most preferred questions from our customers during this past 1 year. We promote H series to the market. We have collected a lot of questions which is being frequently asked in the market. So we're going to focus on this question and give you the answer today. And if any of the attendees have other questions, please leave your question in the comments section, so we will answer your questions after the session. So I will invite our engineer manager, Ricky, to share all these questions and answers. Hello, Ricky. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. I think it's good now. So we have already collected some questions from customers. So if you do have any questions, you can just put your question in the chatting Zoom in either YouTube or Facebook. Okay, so we can let's start with the questions we already collected before. So for the first one, let's see. Okay, so for the first one, the question we collected was what's the limitation for the 16 layers? Because in the promotion we have done before, we told that for each single output card on the H series, it can support 16 layers. So the 16 layers we're talking about here is that if you create a layer with a 4 HD source, so if all your sources are 4 HD, which is 1920 by 1080, you will be able to create 16 layers. But if you do have a 4K input video source going into the H series, if you that will cover 4 layers. So if you have 4K input, you'll only be able to create 4 layers. So the 16 layers, which means 16 1080p input sources. But for each layer, you are able to zoom in and zoom out at the maximum resolution could be up to 4K. So you'll have 4K 16 layers for the output, but for input, if you need all 16 layers, you have to make sure they are 1080p sources. So this is for the first question. And for the second one, let's see. So how many output cards H5 and H9 can support? So for H5 and H9, because we only promote the all-in-one output cards. So for H5, it is the we can maximum support 3 all-in-one output cards, and for H9 we can support maximum 5 all-in-one output cards. So all-in-one output cards we're talking about here is the either 16 output or 20 output cards. Okay. If you do have any questions, you can just put it into the chatting Zoom, and we will answer it later. So for the next question, is there any possibility we can try the web software without the device? Um, right now, there's no way to try the web software without device because it is built-in software inside each unit. So you have to physically connect to it so that you will be able to access the H series unit. But for the customer service or troubleshooting for our tech support engineer, uh, we uh, we have a testing unit in our office, and if they're interested to just take a simple look of the how this software looks like and how they operate, you can just contact Kyle or contact me, and we can send you a temporary test like a login website, and you can see what the software looks like. For actual use, the answer is we do have to uh, have a physical connection uh, to the to the H series unit. Okay. Okay. So for next question, how many users can log in and control the video wall splicer at the same time? The answer is we support maximum 200 users log in at the same time, and the maximum 50 users to operate the unit at the same time. So 200 log in at the same time and the 50 users to operating at the same time. So that's the question for Q4. Sorry, the answers for the Q4. Uh, the next question is if using HDR, the loading capacity would it reduce to the half? Yes, because when it working at HDR mode, so the video source would be 1080p. Sorry, the video 10-bit color input. So when the system working at 10-bit, the loading capacity will drop down to the half than before. Um, the next one be what software used to configure the H series. To configure the LED wall, like do the receiving card setting, screen connection setting, and the software we use is same as what you have been used in the past years. It's still Nova LCT software. Okay, so for next question, how many presets we can save, and also could that support fade in and fade out in fact when switching the presets? Yeah. So for the presets, we can support maximum 2000 presets saved, and when switching between presets, we do have the fade in and the fade out effect when do the presets changing. Okay. Um, for the question 8, only RJ45 outputs. Yes, we recommend to use the RJ45 outputs, but we do have a the traditional video cards, the video outputs like DVI output, HDMI outputs. For the next question, so how many IP camera can be connected to one IP input. So for the IP input cards, we support maximum 16 IP camera connecting into the to the IP camera input card. So 16 cameras. Okay. For question 10, can I use iPad or mobile phone to control the H9? Yes. We will soon release in tablets app for the Android pad or iPad. It's called the software. The app is called AVMP, and this is app will allow users to do the preset changing or like do the precise playing and do basic control like brightness, freeze, blackout, and do some show some test patterns. So soon we will be able to use iPad or an Android tablets to control the H unit. For question 11, can we have the link for H5 and H9 web page? This is a similar question like we already answered both. Um, we do have a temporary link for users to log in, but to get the link, because that is not strong server, because we do not support many input login at the same time, just for testing for our internal test currently. So if you're interested for the web page, you can just email Carl or email me, and we can get you the link. Okay. So question 12, need to have 4K output in DisplayPort or should I make for fully configurable? This need to be separately from multi-view output. Need to have 4K. Actually, I'm not quite clear about what the question is. 4K output card. Carl, do you know what the question is? What is customers asking for question 12?
Hold on, let me check the original. This is the original question, so we can just pass by and it goes to the next one. Maybe we can check later.
Okay. Let's see next question. Oh, question 13. What's max loading capacity for H2? Because for H2 we can maximally support two output cards. So if we're using a 20 RJ45 output cards, the loading capacity will be so for two output cards. Will be 13 13 million pixels. Let's see. for question. So for question 13, what's the maximum for balloon capacity for H2? It is the 15 million. Okay, for question 14, the connection between the input and the output is made via some internal system board. In other words, just insert them into the socket and they will be detected. Okay, yes. So the connection between input output core is the connected with the we call it is how to say, like background board. So yes, just for users, when you connect different tab of input or output cards, when it's powering on, the system will detect what type of input card is detected currently, and it's all automatically. We don't have to do any configuration to set up what input output cards you inserted to the H unit. It's all automatically. Okay, for question 15, if I have 8K by 2K screen, which HSS product you recommended. So for the 8K by 2K, because right now all the input, the maximum input card we support is a 4K input card. So if you have a 8K by 2K, you would need a video splicer, either HDMI or DisplayPort video splicer. So actually, it will supply like from HDMI 2.0 and split it to multiple HDMI, from a HDMI 2.1 and splice and to multiple HDMI 2.0 source. So in that case, doesn't matter which H series unit you are using, because you can configure multiple input cards to support that. Right now, currently, we do have a card that can directly receive a 8K by 2K video source. Okay, for next question, maximum width resolution. It's 10,750. Yes, this is the maximum width and the height for the 20 output cards. And because we have two different type of the output cards, which is the first one is 16 output cards. The maximum width and the height is the uh, 10,240, and for 20 ports it is the 750. So that's the different type. For the maximum loading within the height, let me put it on screen. See. Okay. Just say, and for the 16 output cards, it's the loading capacity, and it's the maximum width and height. And for 20 outputs, this is the for 10,750. it's the maximum width and the height for the 20 cards, 20 output cards. Okay. See next one. Uh, what category of cable is needed for output RJ45 and share or not? For the output cards, it's the standard like what we used before for the output cable for the ALD screen. At least it should be a Cat 5e, and better to use Cat 6 or Cat 7 cables. And it's better to use the shared cables. Next one, can I connect an input card or output card without power off? Um, it is okay to physically connect it. Um, um, you don't have to worry about the a damage when you connect the with the when the power on. But even you connect it, physically connect it, you have to do a power cycle to power off and power back on to that system to detect what type of input card is connected. So for these questions is yes, but um, in the actual scenario, when you change the input output cards, you have to do a power cycle. The next one, what is the maximum resolution for the resolution for input support? Um, so for the because we have different input cards, but all the most frequently used HDMI, the four HDMI input cards, the maximum resolution input is 1080p, so 1920 by 1200 or 1920 by 1080, and the same is for the four DVI input cards. And for the 4K input cards, we support 40 Nexus by 2160. It's a standard 4K resolution. And for the input resolution support, we have a detailed explanation in the specifications. So if you're interested, you can just go to our website and download the specification for the H series. You'll see all supported resolution and including the color base, the sample rate, and all the detailed information. So question 20, need backup or no if use H2 or H9. The backup, we the backup is actually there are different type of backup for the unit itself. Um, for H5 and H9, we have a slot for the power get backup. So it comes with a power supply, but you are able to order an actual power supply and plug into the unit altogether. So you have a power backup that's optional. And for the LED screen, and you can use an actual output cards to do the output, the video, the LED output, audio, sorry, LED video output backup. So it's also an optional um, optional thing. It just depends on what the customer needs. So if the backup is really important and critical to this job, and it's better to have a backup. So just like for H9, if you're using one output cards or two output cards, you can for this LED screen you can use another two output cards. So in total four output cards to do the backup. Okay. For next one, is it better to use the Cat6 cable or is Cat5 cable? Okay. The Cat5 cable is okay, and because we use the gigabit bandwidth cables, so as long as the cable is 1 gigabit bandwidth, and it is okay to use. Okay. Currently no audio support. The inventing is this planned in the future? No. We do not support audio, and right now we uh, do not have plan for supporting audio on H series as well. And in most of our customers' feedback, in their job, they do prefer to set up the audio with the professional audio channel, so they doesn't want to use the video processors to deal with their audio signals. So they use separate audio channel processors. So that's why we have no plan for the audio. But if you have a different thought about the audio, you can just let us know. The next question: do you have output cards with a fiber outputs? Yeah, sure, we do. For the 16 output cards, that this type of output cards, there are two fiber outputs. So for the long distance transmission, you will be able to use the fiber out directly to a fiber receiver on the screen side. So the 16 output cards does have two fiber outputs, 10 gigabit fiber outputs. So for question 24, shall I use it to control LCD and LED at the same time? Yes. So once you use uh, the video output and the all-in-one output cards, the Ethernet output cards at the same time, and create different screens. So screen like screen 1 with the LED output cards and screen 2 with the video output cards, you'll be able to control it at the same time with one single H series unit. Okay, for question 25, what receiving card does it work with the H series? Um, H series doesn't require any special receiving cards, so all NovaStar receiving cards are supported to work together with H series. Okay. So question 26. Does H series support Wi-Fi or any future plan to support Wi-Fi? Um, um, Currently H series doesn't support Wi-Fi, but for this question, I'm assuming you're asking for how to control it wirelessly. So right now, if you connect H series, the H unit to a Wi-Fi router, with the line connection, and your control PC, or in the future, we mentioned already, we will have an iPad or templates app called AVMP. So your control PC or your iPad connect to the same Wi-Fi, so which means your H series unit and your control PC or iPad control device at the same network, under the same network, you'll be able to control it by logging the IP of H series to control to get access to the web page. So that's the way we do the wireless connection or control currently for the H series. The next one, uh, the software supports the Zoom 4 presettings. before sending it to other screens. Yeah, because the web control page, before you put it or send it to other screens, um, there it is an option called pre-edit. So we can pre-edit the screen layer setup, size, location of different layers, and which source. You can program the layout with output, whatever you need, and then there'll be a button just like when we use a switcher to take it to the screen. So on the web page, users will be able to edit it before sending it to the LD screens. So I think that's all the questions we collected before the live streaming. And let me check if there are any questions.
There are two more questions from our customers. Can I share my screen?
Sure. You can share your screen now, I think.
Type screen share.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry, it seems let me just repeat the question. There are just the two questions. The first one is a clearance for the question you are not so understanding very well. The question 13. The question 13. So the people asking in question 13 is they are looking for a traditional output card that is capable of 4K with DP and HDMI outputs. I mean, they're asking if they're asking if we have a output card that can output with DP port and HDMI port for the 4K output. Do we have that?
The 13th question is what's the maximum loading capacity for H2? With that question?
No, it looks like they are looking for an output card. Which one is output with DP and HDMI output? So currently all the output cards are RG45, right? So do we have output card for the DP and HDMI which capable for 4K output?
Yeah, we're planning on making the 4K output video output cards. It's coming.
Okay. And there's one more from Jonah from Soar AV. He is looking for how. Let me just copy this to you. He is looking for how can I make a 1080p input scale to a 1280 by 768 LED wall and make it output to another wall that is 1080p. So one input to two different size LED walls. Is it possible?
Yeah, when you configure the screen in NovaLCT, you definitely have to create two screens to configure the wall. And in the HCR's whitepage page, you can assign different or same input source to different screens and to do the zooming separately. So that is possible.
So another one is Ben, asking by Ben from BNY Production. Will you be able to use NDI as an input source for the IP port?
Yeah, I see that question in the chatting Zoom. Just let me put it on the screen. Is that this question, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we'll be able to use yeah, right now H series doesn't support NDI as the input source.
So okay, so that means we don't have that.
Yeah, we do not have that.
Okay. Okay, that's all we have for the extra tonight. Okay, thank you. I think that's all we have for the QA session tonight. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, everyone, for joining with us. We will.
Thank you.
We have recorded the video. We will release it to the online. Thank you.